Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are back with the TBM-930 Improvement Mod from MixMugz. And by the way guys, we're going to talk about the correct link that you should be using, as well as the differences between the TBM-930 and the PC-12 that I have found thus far. So stick around. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below. Okay, so first things first, a link to this location will be down in the description below, guys. Make sure that you grab this zip right here, and you're going to want to completely remove any previous installation of the mod and then add this one in. Okay, if you do this, everything works. The doors, the yoke, removing the yokes, the parking brake alarm, all of it, everything works, as we will demonstrate in today's flight. Okay, so again, a link to this will be down in the description below. You must remove the previous versions of the mod, install this mod, relaunch your simulator, and everything should work just fine. Now, with Sim Update 10 coming around the corner, well, we just don't know. But thank you to Luca97, who has temporarily picked up the weight of the MixMugz TBM-930 mod while things are not so well over in Ukraine. Hopefully this will come to a resolution soon, and MixMugz can get back to what he loves to do and stop having to worry about all of the turmoil that he's currently going through. As well as everyone else in that region, we send our prayers and thoughts. Now, we will also today be using this guy, the Overkills TBM-930 guide for Microsoft Flight Simulator. As I mentioned in the intro, guys, this is a full cold and dark startup tutorial all the way to cold and dark at the destination that is in the guide. Everything that you need to complete the flight as designed is in the guide, including all flight plans and charts. And this is true with all of my guides. So any of the aircraft listed, they will all be designed in the same fashion. So we're going to be using this today to sort of walk through the different processes of the flight. Now, the destination that we're doing today is obviously not the same as in the guide, but it'll be fun nonetheless. So I wanted to at least show you guys what the guides look like, in case any of you were interested in flying the TBM-930, because I highly recommend this aircraft. It is so much fun, guys. I love the TBM. I don't think that anything's ever going to take it away. I thought maybe the PC-12 was going to take it, but I just, I don't know. But let's go ahead and get back to talking about our flight today. So our flight today, we're going from San Francisco over to San Diego. A real quick jump and a skip. Nothing too crazy here. We got a cruising altitude today of 29,000 feet. We're looking for 1,100, almost 1,200 pounds of fuel. We could probably set it 1,200 and be just fine. And a cargo weight. Actually, I probably won't set the cargo weight to be realistic, so I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see here. We are projected to take off at 01 left from San Francisco. And let's see here, coming in on 27 in San Diego. We've got our star and our SID, and looks like the route is looking good. So yeah, real quick jump. I mean, heck, this is our transition from the SID. We're going direct to LAX, coming off of LAX, going right onto the Comics 2. So yeah, it's going to be a real short flight, but should be fun nonetheless. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's see what we got. Oh, cool takeoff. All right, let's jump in. So first thing we obviously need to do is start setting up for our pre-flight and making sure that the aircraft is safe for engine start. So let's go to our document here. Let's start taking a look at things. So first thing I want to show you guys. So with the improvement mod that I'm using, you can see everything works. Okay, that's going to be the back door. That's going to be the storage door. If we go outside, you can see everything's functioning. There's the cargo door. There's the back door opened up from there. It works great. So just wanted to set you guys at ease there. And click that. Click that. Let's close the door. All right, and lock it. And let's go ahead and bring it. Actually, I'm going to leave the yoke away for a minute while we do our pre-flight. So we want to make sure cabin and pilot doors are closed and locked. You know, I actually don't think I locked the back door. So let's do... Oh, okay, there we go. Had to get around the seat. I love that it has a solid texture, actually. And let's come back here. Gosh, this looks so cool. Thank you, Crispy, again, for doing this amazing livery. I love it. Looks great. I think green is locked. That sounds right. Can you open the door when it's like that? Yep, green for lock. Okay. That's what I thought. All right, Look at that beautiful color. Gosh, this thing looks cool. All right, so now I actually have to double check. Okay, I did lock it. All right, and do I have a camera set? I do indeed, and I got my overhead panel. Excellent. All right. So passenger oxygen switch is currently set to standby. Oxygen master switch is currently set to off. Sort of just walk through things actually here. So all exterior lights are off currently. Panel lights negligent at the moment as we're in daylight. Crash bar is down. Generator off. Batteries or electrical sources off. Starter switch in the off position. Ignition should go to the off for a pre-start. And auxiliary boost pumps are off. Fuel selection is manual. Autopilot and trim systems are off. Emergency locator transmitters armed. Oxygen is off as well. Let's step on down. And again, all this information is in my wonderful guide, if I do say so myself. Oh, goodness, thank you. Anyway, air conditioning system should be off prior to engine start. All anti-ice and inertial separators are set to off as well. Parking brake currently set to on. Landing gear handle is down. Pressurization switch is off. Hot airflow should actually be at the floorboard for engine start. I don't know why. Fuel tank selected. We're evenly balanced at the moment. We actually haven't fueled the aircraft. We'll do that next. But we have the left tank selected. Manual override is disconnected. And the throttle is in the cutoff position. Flaps are retracted. Alternate static air source pushed in and closed. All circuit breakers are pushed in and set. So we are now ready for pre-starts. Let's go ahead and start working on that. All right, coming back upstairs, we're going to go ahead and set a couple of lights here. We're going to set the nav lights on, the pulse light on, taxi light can stay off for now. We don't need any internal lights. Everything looks good outside. Crash bar comes up. We're going to go to the battery, and then generator goes to main. All right, and let's step on downstairs for just a moment before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's do a few more tests. Let's bring the Garmin up to life here. Bring me to life. Okay, let's move forward. And see what we got going on here. So the first thing that we're going to do, we don't have too much to do here before the startup here, but we're going to do a lights test on the landing gear. Let me adjust the daylight because I know it doesn't show up very well. So we're going to change the time of day a little bit. There we go. Just a little bit just so you guys can see everything that's going on. So do a lights test on the landing gear system. Press. Okay. Make sure everything's blinking, lights up. Then we're going to do a check down select. 3 flashing green indicates that the landing gear is truly down and secured according to all of the sensors that are available. Do a quick CAS overview. Fuel pressure, oil pressure, parking brake is set, low voltage meter, bleed is off, and auto fuel selection is off as well. Those are all to be expected prior to engine start. We're going to be monitoring the NG percentage for 13%. Once we get to the engine start at 13%, we're going to move the throttle from cut off to low idle. At 52%, we're going to go from low idle to high idle and then make the jump over the gate into flight idle. All right, so let's go ahead and get things started. We can go ahead and set our barometric pressure. And let's come up top. Okay, so lights are all set. Let's go ahead and begin. We're going to go ignition to on, auxiliary boost pumps to on, and the starter to on. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. She should start coming to life. Again, monitoring that NG percent. I know it's kind of hard to see, guys. We're at 10%. There's 11. 12, and there's our 13. So we're going to go from cut off to low idle. Just click and hold and drag it forward. And there's 52, there's 53, going into high idle. And then while holding left click, just give it a right click, and she'll come over the gate into flight idle. And we'll just let her start up for about 60 seconds, monitoring temperatures, making sure nothing goes over what it should. By the way, I did forget to show you guys, we did set our fuel. 1,193 pounds, we were expecting 1,196. Pretty sure we'll be okay. If we're cutting it down to 3 gallons of fuel, we are cutting that way too close. All right, let's come back upstairs. Got a good start. Ignition goes to auto now. Auxiliary boost pumps to auto. Fuel selection goes to auto. Autopilot and trim systems go to on. And yes, according to the real world TBM-930 pilot operational handbook, oxygen does get turned on at engine start. Cool. All right, so let's come on downstairs again. Oh, wrong one. There we go. That's what I was trying to get to. Air conditioning system can now be set as desired. Any pitot heat and or anti-ice can be set. I leave the pitot install heater off until we're ready for taxi. Hot airflow can now be adjusted as desired. Pressurization, you want max diff or auto. Max diff is going to pressurize the aircraft as rapidly as possible, so it can make things pretty uncomfortable for you and passengers. Auto is obviously going to pressurize the smoothest, but there has been one occasion that I can think of in the 2 years that I've been flying the TBM-930 for Microsoft Flight Simulator that I have had to use max diff. All right, and let's make sure everything else is looking good. We've already got our barometric pressure set. We can go ahead and set our CDI. We're just going to set it to the FMS now. Just like to get ahead of things. Flight directors can come on. And these are all things, I'm doing this part a little bit out of sequence, but again, all of it is in the guide if you're interested. So now, let's go ahead and jump on down, if I can remember. There we go, and start entering in our flight plan. All right, so let's see. I'm going to bring the sim volume down just a bit here. And let's start taking a look at things here. So, first, let's go to MFD. Flight plan. By the way, this is also using the Working Titles G3000 mod. You're going to want that installed as well in order to follow suit. KSFO is our starting location for San Francisco International. And we are heading over to KSAN or San Diego. All right. And let the games begin. We're going to go to procedures. We're going to go to departure. We're going to be looking for... Come on. Stick 5. And Jung as our transition point. There we go. Now, to show you guys something, we got a couple different things here. And we are projected for 0-1 left, actually, so let me hold that there. And then now, let's go back to procedures. We're going to look at our arrival. And we are coming in on the COMEX 2. And our transition point is LAX. Because LAX is our transition point, we don't have to enter in that as our route. So we're just going to leave that as is. So we just got the 2 procedures and the approach. So we're going to hit load. There we go. Hit back. Go for the approach. And we are hoping for runway 27. Looks like we have an RNAV, Yankee, and a Zulu. Let's check the chart real quick. Give me just a minute. Let me pull up Navigraph charts and see which one we should be expecting. Where's my Navigraph charts? It's missing. Where is my Navigraph charts? It really is missing. Hey, what'd you guys do to my Navigraph charts? What's going on here? Huh? That ain't cool. Alright, let's come up top. There we go. And let's look for KSAN. Open the book. Look at the approach. It's funny. Oh, there we go. It does have... Oh, it's got a localizer. Let's check out the RNAV. See if there's any specific instructions. Straight in runway 27 at night. Operational. Required. And then what's on the Zulu? Zulu is using SARG as the transition point. Land comes in Vita. Back to Yankee. Oh, okay. So I'm not seeing anything that's restricting us from using one or the other. Let's come back over here one more time. I think this one's going to work the best. Seems to be a smoother approach. Roll it right in. All right, so let's select the Zulu. And our transition point is Cologne. That actually works out perfectly for us. Okay, load. And let's go home. Let's go to flight plan. No errors, good. All right, and next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set up our VNav over here. So I'm going to go back to the chart for a second. Touchdown zone elevation is 17 feet, so we're going all the way down to the bottom. So here's what we're going to do. And actually, you know what? We'll set up our VNav once we get up to cruise altitude. Let's do that. We'll do that then. That'll make it more fun. All right, so let's go to our speed bugs. And based on our weight, we're going to be looking at a rotation speed of 75 knots. For rotate, best rate, best speed, and our approach bugs we'll leave on. Okay, let's go back. And I think that's all that I need for today. We've already got our CDI set to the FMS. Got our flight plan set. We can set our target altitude. $29,000 feet. You know what? I didn't check our star. Oh, at or below 10,000 at port. Okay, so we do. Let's see here. So where's port? I don't even remember seeing a port on our list. Yep. Okay, so at port we got to be below at or below 10,000. So we're going to set our initial altitude to 10,000. Almost missed that. All right, so 10,000 feet is set. Barometric pressure set. Flight plan set. Parking brake set. And then I'm looking at the cast messages, that's why I said the parking brake. Speed bugs are set. We're good to go, guys. So let us do so. Oh, my camera was so goofy. All right, let's get out of here. All right, so let's get out of here. We're going to turn stall heater, pitot heater, and inertial separator on. Taxi light turned on. And let's get rolling out of here. I know the tech's still catching up, but... All right. Now we're just going to bring up the taxi. Information on Navigraph. And get out to our runway. So I believe we said 10 left is what we're supposed to be coming out on. Or was it 01 left? Let me double check. 01 left. Gosh, I'm glad I didn't make that mistake. Wow. We have a brutally long taxi ahead of us. Brutally long taxi. All right, so we're just expediting our crossing of 01 right. And 01 left will be just up here. Strobe light coming on, landing light coming on. Setting flaps for takeoff. All right. And let's see here. We are going to lock in our initial climb speed. Meant to do this before we hit the runway, but oh well. No plan's perfect, right? We're going to be looking for 124 knots for best rate. Make sure nav mode is selected. And everything else looks good. All right. Setting torque to takeoff power. Watching that right torque or that left torque. Takeoff torque set. There's rotation. Ooh, good crosswind. Holy mercy. Let's brake, gear up. Alright, looking for flap speed. Flaps coming back. Yaw damper on, autopilot on. Oh, it just dawned on me what I did. We want 10,000. Didn't realize I only set it for 1,000. Nice job. So needs another 0 there, bud. Now flight level change, and we are looking for 124 knots. Gosh darn it, I hate that. There we go. Not the best climb out that I've done. That was pretty sloppy. But having trouble with my track IR. Oh, you know what? I messed around with the settings for X-Plane. Dang it. I forgot to change them back. That's why everything's so choppy. It's like really choppy. It's not as fluid as I normally have it. Alright, so we are airborne, clear skies, no major concerns of any kind of debris or icing, so I'm going to go ahead and shut the inertial separator off, which will give us quite a bit of power back. So we're going to be monitoring our engine torque. You can see it's already increasing, 88, 89, so we want to keep an eye on that. Climbing like a bat out of hell, which is awesome. Isn't that beautiful? So, in relationship to the PC-12, guys, I gotta be honest, I still think the TBM-930 takes the cake. I think it's a bit faster, it's a bit more responsive. I like the systems in it better, which is funny because I'm not a real big LCD screen kind of guy. I like the steam gauges, but I have to admit, it's just such a cool plane. I love the TBM. Love the viewports of the TBM, the look of the TBM. I mean, she just looks badass. Not to say the PC-12 is bad. I still like the PC-12, and we still are going to do a cross-country flight in it first. I mean, we haven't done a full flight with the PC-12 yet, so that still needs to be taken into consideration here. You know what? I think for right now, I'm just going to stop the head tracker. There we go. Oh, then I can take the headset off, and it's much more comfortable anyway. So that definitely makes a nice improvement there. All right, see how we're doing here. So we're about 8 miles from port. Let's see here. Total flight time looking at about 2.5 hours. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Six miles from port now. God, that's pretty. So this is something that while I have you guys, This is one of my complaints about Microsoft Flight Simulator versus X-Plane. Watch everything outside the window, right? So if I pick my head up, everything's nice and blue and light. When I bring my head down, look how white and washed out it gets. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why it does that. I think it's just to simulate sort of that reflection you get from the, your peripheral, whether it be the sides, top of your eyes, whatever it may be. But it just seems like it's too much. And that is one thing that I will say about X-Plane 12 that I like that it does not do. That part is kind of nice. Alright, so we are restricted below 10,000 and we're below 210 knots until we clear port. When we clear port, we are free to do what we will. So we're going to go ahead and hang tight for a second here. And I need to watch my speed. Start pulling that power back. We can go ahead and start setting our altitude for our target. We just can't execute that climb just yet. There we go. Now we can. Going back into flight level change. And 1, 2, 4 knots. Awesome. And let's keep our altitude going. From here, we are clear all the way up to cruise, 29,000 feet. There we go. We can also turn the landing lights off. Make sure we got everything up there. All right. Other than that, everything's looking good. We're following on course. The next step is 18,000 feet. We will give our barometer a tap to set us back to standards of 29902, but other than that, we are just sort of chilling until we get up to our cruise altitude. So I'll see you guys up at cruise. Okay, so we are up at cruise altitude. We have set our altimeter to the 29902 standard. So let's go ahead and set up our quote-unquote VNAV. What it is really is just going to be a guide. Give us a target for our glide slope. So what we're going to do is we're just going to find Cessna here. Oh, no, we have to go above that or below that. Hang on. Runway 27 is what we should be able to set. Set 17 feet. Actually, let's do this. Let's use the transition altitude. So, sorry. I'm going to go back. Let's go top. Let's find our chart. And we're going to go back to Cessna. Open up the book. We're going to go to our approach. We're going to find our RNAV approach that we selected here. And what I'm going to do is find our fixed point here. So there's runway 27 for the approach. 3,200 feet at Say. That's what we're going to look for. And you guys will find I always butcher these names because I don't look them up like I should. So there we go. So here instead, we're going to type in 3,200 feet. We're going to press enter. That sets the altitude, which will set all the altitude steps above it, as you can see here, and identify our top of descent. So what we can do now is go to VNAV over here, hit VNAV enabled, and you can see we are at top of descent in approximately 55 minutes for a 3-degree glide slope, descending at approximately 1,600 feet per minute. That's going to change as we get closer to it. So really easy stuff, and if you look up here, we should be able to, if I back myself out a little bit here. Zoom out. Okay, we're going to have to do the old-fashioned, give that a click. And which way are we going? I think it's going the wrong way. Yep, okay, there we go. Let's go find it. Just going to follow our flight path here. There's LAX. It was shortly after. Right there. There it is. TOD. There is our top of descent point that's even marked on the map for us. So makes it really slick. Makes it really slick. Kick that. Let's zoom that back out. All right. So I will see you guys as we approach the top of descent. From here on out, it's pretty easy peasy. We're cruising right about 80% max power. So cruising a little fast. But enjoying the view, enjoying the flight, and I'll see you guys when it's time to call it a night. I'm here all week, folks. Okay, so you guys can see there, we had our flashing top of descent in 1 minute. So we're going to set our descent altitude here. And I'm just going to set it all the way down to 3,200 feet. We don't have any above restrictions. We do have some below restrictions. So as long as we're below our necessary altitude targets, we'll be fine. Okay, if we need to adjust it, we will. So 7 seconds. I'm going to pull some power off, start slowing the aircraft down a bit. We're going to go into vertical speed mode. And I'm going to start descending. I'm going to roll my vertical speed caret down until it matches the caret here. So if we zoom in real closely, you can see the purple or the magenta caret is our target. The blue one is our current descent rate. Here's our glide slope, and we want to try to make the glide slope target right in line with our current altitude. Sometimes you'll find yourself having to descend a bit faster at times, and it does take a bit of finessing, and sometimes you have to adjust as we go through. Like here, we're going to pull it back up a little bit now to better match our target. Our target should always be listed right about here. So it's only 1,300, but that's going to change based on our airspeed, based on altitude. There's a couple things that will change it. So you do have to adjust a few times here and there, but it's really not bad. And it works really well. It works very, very well. So from here, that's it for the descent. I'm just going to continue to manage these 3 sections right here and make sure we don't breach any airspace restrictions. But I think we're going to be good, and I will catch you guys as long as everything goes smooth. I'll catch you guys as we're getting ready to join the approach. All right, so we have passed through 18,000 feet. We're going to set our barometric pressure. And it looks like we're a little below glide slope now, so I'm going to pull our rate of descent back until our glide slope starts coming down. I stepped away for a few minutes, but still not too bad of a deviation. We'll just reduce our descent rate until it catches back up. And I'll see you guys in a few. We're getting close. All right, and we are on just turning final now. We're at our 3,200 feet as planned. Turning final for 27. Landing lights are on. Barometric pressure, let's re-verify it. Looking good. Inertial separator, let's get it turned back on for the landing. And there's our completed turn. Final course heading should be 275 degrees. See if I can get us cleared for a visual here. Oh yeah, we got her. So I think we're just going to do that. We're going to do a visual approach here. We're going to set our missed approach altitude for 2,500 feet. Master caution comes on because of the inertial separator. That is to be expected. And we're going to actually start pulling some power back. We're about 7 miles away now. I'm going to go ahead and disengage the autopilot and the yaw damper, and we're going to fly her in manually. I haven't done that in a very long time, so we're just going to sort of steadily bring her in. Let's try to maintain a heading of 275 degrees. Start pulling that power off. I want to get her slowing down. Get to about 130 knots, we can start getting the flaps down. There's 275, steady on final course heading. 3-degree descent, looking good so far. 130 knots, looking good. Flaps 1 coming in. Maintain that descent rate. Nice and gentle for a minute. We're a little high on the slope. I'm gonna pull some more power off. Bring that nose down a bit tighter. A little steep on the descent, I know. Absolutely agree. Trying to get us back within a reasonable approach here. Gonna go ahead and bring the gear down. Add some extra drag here. There we go. I'm happier with that. It wouldn't be me if it wasn't a space shuttle approach. Landing gear down and locked, going full flaps. Looking for 85 knots on the approach speed. The TBM does have reverse prop. I don't normally use it on this particular aircraft. I just don't usually need it. She stops pretty fast, honestly. But she does have the capability to do short field landings if you need it. But like I said, very rarely do you need to. Sometimes I do it just because it's fun, but get a little bumpy on the approach here. 85 knots, looking to hold that. Adding some power back in. We're steep on the descent. Already knew that. Just sort of keeping my eyes right on my target. Looking for those piano keys at the moment. Whoa, we got fast. Added too much power. Nice thing is she'll dump the power almost as quickly as she picks it up. Oh my gosh, it is getting bumpy. Very bumpy. Yeah, we got real high. Real high on that approach. Not near as high as I was looking to be. That's alright. It happens. I'll have to make this approach more frequently. Because clearly I need the practice. The nice thing is we're still back at the 85 knots on the approach. And check this out. Start rolling it out. Looking upstream there. Just in that nice 3-degree flare. Just hold it, hold it, hold it. She'll float herself right down. And we're in. Ooh, get center lined here. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get those flaps up. We don't like to taxi with the flaps down in the TBM. Very, very close to the ground. So if there's any debris or rocks or anything like that by chance, and we kick it up, we're gonna pitch it right at the flaps. So we really try to avoid that. Let's make sure we completely get off the runway, then we'll secure the landing lights and the strobe light. There we go. And let's get the strobe lights turned off. Let's get those landing lights turned off. Oh, not all of them. And let's see here. I think that's it for all we need here. And let's continue taxi. Get our little lady parked up here. And we're just going to head over to the terminal, excuse me. The administrative parking. There we go. We even got what looks like another TBM up there. That TBM or that PC-12? I can't tell yet. Can't see the tail. Oh, neither. It's like a Pilatus. Is that the Kodiak? That might be the Kodiak. Alright, let's bring it around over here. I'm going to park right next to you. If you guys don't mind if we join you here. Good enough for me. Let's go ahead and clear the yoke for a second. Set that parking brake. Clear the master caution. We know it's okay. And we're going to move this on over to the flight idle position. Get her down into low idle. While that's going on, we'll kill the inertial separator. See if I can... There we go. That makes more sense. Stall heaters can come off. That can come off. Let's see here. Pressurization switch comes off. Hot airflow set as desired. We can set it for the future flight if we want. Let's turn the air conditioning systems off. Flaps are secured. Manual override is set. We can go ahead and go into the cutoff position now. Check, 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 check. Okay. And let's clear that master caution. Clear the flight directors. Okay, set our altitude down to the ground level. Clear the master caution. There we go. Close enough. Coming upstairs, oxygen switch goes to the off position. Autopilot and trim systems get turned off. Fuel selection back to manual. Auxiliary boost pumps go to the off position. Ignition switch to the off position. Any remaining exterior lights can now turn off. Taxi light off and crash bar can come down. Okay, release the door locks. Open the doors. Open your cargo. I think we need to unlock the rear door before we can open it. Yep. Let's unlock the cargo door or the passenger door. Open that up. Step outside. There's our beautiful girl. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me on this beautiful flight from San Francisco over to San Diego in the TBM-930 with the MixMugz TBM-930 mod, sporting this amazing Overkill Transportations livery. Really grateful for that. Thank you very much. And as always, guys, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. You can betcha.